The three things that when combined are going to help you get found by AI and search engines. I call it the trifecta of trust.
The trifecta of trust.
So I'm talking about educational content, reviews, and case studies. You put those together, trifecta of trust.
Trifecta of trust.
You're listening to the Endless Customers podcast, brought to you by the team at Impact. Endless Customers is the proven system to become the most known and trusted brand in your market. If you want to start to learn the principles of Endless Customers and how you can implement them in your business, pick up a copy of Endless Customers, a national bestseller wherever books are sold. Ready to start implementing Endless Customers in your business? Talk to Impact about how our coaching program can help you implement Endless Customers to success. And if you want to experience Endless Customers in person, do not miss our upcoming conference, Endless Customers Live, in Chicago, March 30th through April 1st, 2026. Registration is now open. And now, onto the show. Here's your host, Alex Winter.
When a buyer lands on your website, the question in the back of their mind is simple. Can I trust you? And today, it's not just buyers making the judgment call. It's also AI tools like Google, ChatGPT, and Perplexity. That's why trust signals are no longer optional. They're the difference between being recommended or overlooked, and between winning a lead or losing one. Joining me today is Mary Brown, website strategist here at Impact. Mary works with businesses every day to identify the gaps on their websites that erode trust and to put strategies in place that build credibility with both humans and AI. In our conversation, we're going to dig into what trust signals really are, why they matter, and how you can start implementing them on your site right away. Mary Brown, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We're happy to have you here. We've been doing a lot of virtual, so to have a real human in the office with us here in the studio is just wonderful.
Yeah,
and it's a big day. It's your birthday.
it is. It's true. Not tonight, this one. Every year it keeps happening.
Oh no, every
Here, keep it away from.
happy birthday. Yeah, I hope you have a great year ahead.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Well, guess what we're talking about today?
Tell me.
Our favorite topic here. We're talking about websites, but not just websites. We're talking about how AI and trust signals are so important for your websites going forward into the future. But before we get into that, can we just set the stage for people who maybe don't know who you are? Just tell them what you do here at Impact, a little bit about your background and just your day-to-day.
Yes, how do you do that? So I am Impact's lead website strategist. So I work with clients in a couple different capacities. I will either help them with website projects. So if you need a new website, yes, that is absolutely one of the things that I will help with, from strategy to launch. I also help clients where if they already have a website that we're working with, just optimizing that website. So how do we test and tweak and always iterate, because we know websites never done.
That's right.
So that is one of my favorite things to do. And I'm really, really excited to talk about this topic, about AI trust signals, because it's a huge part of the optimization game right now for everybody.
Yeah. So when you say trust signals, what does that mean? What can you just define it? I know what it means.
Yeah.
If you've read the book Endless Customers, you probably know what it means. If you've been to any Endless Customer Labs, you know what that means. But can you just define it for our listeners and our viewers out there?
Yeah, so they are little cues. And when it comes to a website, there are cues that you will find on a website that reassure both people and AI tools that you are real, you are reliable, and you're a credible source, which is everything.
That sounds kind of important.
Yeah, kind of important.
Yeah.
Well, we talk all the time about how trust is a currency of business.
Totally.
If people do not trust you, then they're not going to buy from you. So it's everything. So this is not new in terms of what we've been talking about. I mean, it's the cornerstone of everything we've done, from the Ask You Answer to Endless Customers now. So that much is the same. It just looks a little different in how you execute on it. But even some of those things, especially with a website, will look familiar to you. So reviews, transparent pricing, fresh content, bios for people who are writing about content, having a secure website. Have you ever been to a website or tried to go to a website? You got the error that the site is insecure, go back.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
So,
or sometimes too, I'll be putting in credit card info or sensitive info, and the little lock button in the URL, it's not there. And I'm like, wait a sec, maybe I shouldn't be doing buying up. Who's gonna steal my credit card info and during my account? Yeah.
Right.
No, that's real.
Yeah. So if Google or ChatGPT or your AI engine of choice are not confident in your credibility, then they're not going to recommend you. And if you're not being recommended, then no one's going to find you. No one's going to buy from you.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people right now, that the hot topic, of course, with artificial intelligence is, we used to get found with Google and regular SEO and search and organic search. How do we get found on AI? And if people go to GPC or to Claude or to whatever, whatever they're using, how do we show up and still have a way to build trust and not be just unknown in that use space.
Yeah, so it is a different game when it comes to SEO. We've been saying for a while now that you can't build your house on Google because we know that organic is the landscape is just crazy. It's changing.
For sure.
It's not steady on your feet anymore. But with AI, the cool thing is if anyone feels really overwhelmed about, oh my gosh, how do I do this? A lot of the principles of how to get found by AI are rooted in technical SEO. So it might sound a little different. Yeah, I trust you those, but some of the stuff that you're doing is stuff that we've been talking about for a long time. So one of those things is transparent pricing. Not anything that's going to be news to you,
Not
because we've been talking about that for so long, but it's still a blind spot. If you have transparent pricing, that's a trust signal. You need to have that stuff out there with those ranges that we've talked about for forever. There are some more technical pieces about how to do that. We can talk about what that means. That's a little different, but those cornerstones are still.
Yeah. So what trust signals would you say are like the most important ones for companies to be thinking about, or like in your day-to-day as you're building and working on all these websites? What do you see as like the common trust thieves, or like the things that people really need to be thinking about?
Pricing is number one. And I know that some people always have the objection of, it's too complicated, it's too tricky, but making sure that you have transparent pricing is huge. And self-service tools are so helpful with that type of thing, because even if you're not going to be able to have those prices on your page, you can create a self-service tool, a pricing tool that can get people to their more custom range, right? And that's what you hear all the time is, well, our prices are really custom. Give them a tool so that they can find out themselves.
Yes, pricing calculators do amazing things. And people I love drawing out all that stuff and playing with everything. I see what it yields and what I get out of it. But having at least a range it's critical. There's no excuse these days.
That's always going to be number one. Always, always, always.
Okay, so self-service, big one. Pricing up the bidders.
Another one I would share is actually author and bio wages.
Oh, fat.
Yeah, so we know a lot of people are good about having a content engine. They are writing content, but sometimes companies will fail to build up the expertise of their writers. And a really important thing with AI visibility is having authoritative visibility. So there's a difference between just having content out there and having your content be thought of as expert and from a subject matter expert and authoritative. Really, really need that authority. So if you are thinking right now, okay, I have a blog, but I don't have author bios, attack that. Go after that right now. Create bios for your authors. And not just some blogs you'll see, they got a little bit of a bio on a blog post at the very end of it maybe, but you want to make sure you're building out actual bio pages where you're talking about that person's, where maybe their education is from, if it's relevant, or you're talking about their work history if it's relevant, you're talking about all the places they've appeared in media and all that, because that's going to build trust. And it's not just humans looking for that. It is good for humans, but the AI engines want to see that stuff too.
Yeah, so it's really looking for credibility.
Yeah.
Making sure that it's a credible source, and if it's not, then it's not gonna feature you.
Yeah, that's the name of the game right now. Is really authority and credibility with
Yes. So I'm just curious, do you take like the author page? So you create a separate page, you take the author page when you're reading like a blog, for instance, and I know what you're talking about. You see like in the footer, like here's Alex who wrote this article on a little quick blurb. Do you add like a link or some way to go to that specific page that's like about me?
Yeah.
Or about the author? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of, out of the box functionality that you'll see on website is if you click that author, you will be taken to a blog listing page. And a lot of our sites do this. And you'll see the author, you'll see a blurb about them, you'll see all the articles about them. And that's great out of the box. We want to take it a step further, and we want to build a bio page that we can link to that will also have a video of them, and it will link to other media there, and maybe not just blog content and things like that, but and list all of their
social profile.
Exactly.
Like LinkedIn and stuff like that.
Yep, yeah. All of that stuff. So it is taking it a step further than what you've got now.
Okay, cool. What other trust signals should we be thinking about?
So one thing that I think people are missing right now, a big one, is having things that you've got that aren't necessarily up to snuff. So if you've got content that might be outdated, then that's a bad thing. So one of the things that we're telling people to do is including an updated date on your blog. So have you ever typed a question into a search engine and then you get the results and scan the date? Do you ever do that?
I need to be better about this, but I have sometimes caught it where I'm like, wait a sec, this article's from like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
How old is this?
Yeah, that's one of the first things I look at, because if I'm asking a question about, what washing machine should I buy, I don't want to see an article from 2005.
Yeah, that's not gonna help you.
No, it's not going to help me at all. And I'm flat out not going to look at it. So those dates are really, really important.
Yeah.
So including an updated date and taking your content, you might have evergreen content that's been around for a while. It's still relevant, but you still want to make sure it's fresh.
Right.
And update those things and add content to them and have that date on there so people can see without a doubt. I have seen blogs that have no date on them at all.
Okay.
Which is even...
I was gonna ask that. I'm gonna say, can you use but no date, and does that maybe circumvent? But it sounds like that's not there. So don't do that at driving. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Well, it's funny because it's kind of like pricing in that when you omit information, people think you're hiding something. And that erodes trust.
Totally.
So that's why you want to be upfront about this stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's all. Yeah. So would you recommend, is this like an annual thing? You should, especially for evergreen content, you should be like constantly look at it and maybe updating and tweaking and changing the dates and just making sure you're not getting left behind with internets.
Yeah, if you've got good content that's consistently getting traffic, update that stuff. Make sure, and you can include a note too. Some people write a little note at the beginning of the post and you put it in italics and say, this post was optimized for relevancy, or, make sure if something has changed that you're addressing that.
Yeah.
But be really upfront about that so people can say, oh, they're actually taking the time to make sure that this content is up to date for me. So
Yeah. Well, and you keep saying this, a recurring theme, and this is so important. It comes back to trust. So all the things that we're doing there are just to make sure that people that find you, trust you and don't think that you're hiding something or that you're outdated or that you're behind the game. And that's just so important.
one of I think the most important things for people to take away right now is that when you hear AI trust signals, yes, this is what AI looks for, but it's all important to humans as well, right? Maybe some of the technical stuff is different and the structure is different, but it's good for humans and AI.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, humans are using the AI and they're trying to optimize their search or go faster or do things better, quicker, stronger, whatever. So the AI is learning the things that people want.
Okay.
And they're trying to serve it to them as quickly as possible. So it makes sense. Yeah. What about reviews? Because I know reviews are a big piece as well. And I feel like that's definitely got to get on the radar for trust signals, right?
Oh, absolutely. So again, when I was talking about something that is missing, if you have no reviews, again, people are going to think, why don't they have reviews? Are they all bad? And they're going to think the worst. Even if it's not true, maybe you just don't have any. So you think, oh, I have nothing to put on my site. But people will unfortunately think the worst, think that you're hiding something, think that you've got all bad reviews. So they are critical to have on there. And I always tell people, even if you have, say you've got a 3-star review and somebody says, I had this bad experience, respond to that and let people see that you're responding to that so that they can see, okay, well, how'd you make it right? And sometimes that can be what inspires someone to feel that trust. Well, nobody's perfect all the time.
Yeah.
We know you can't be a 5-star every single time, but when they have a 3, A, they didn't hide it. They put it right there on the website. And B, they said what they did to make it right and fix it. And I could see that interaction, and it was a human interaction.
Yeah.
And that's really important. So reviews are really, really huge.
No, that's a great point. I see that time and time again. That's something I do. I won't buy from a place or a service or something like that without looking at the reviews. Instead, it's like a cornerstone for me. And I look at that too. Like maybe their average isn't the greatest, but if I see that they're responding in the comments and they're trying to own their mistakes, or they're trying to correct their mistakes or whatever the case is, because like you said, nobody's perfect. Yeah. That makes me feel good that like at least they're trying to provide good service and they care and they're not just like transactional.
Yeah.
Don't worry about reviews or try to sweep it under the rug.
Yeah. And sometimes having only 5 stars is just as bad as having nothing, because people are going to say they're only putting their good stuff on here. Yeah. So they're not being transparent with me. So keep that in mind when you're adding reviews to your site, that you want to have a range and you want to have, good, bad, ugly, as long as you are showing good customer service on there.
That's funny you just said that. I don't rarely see 5-star reviews. And if I do, I'm usually like, well, how many reviews? Is 2 or 3? I'm like, oh, well, hold on a second. It's like, yeah, mom and dad are like commented. I'll read that. Yeah, that doesn't count. And it doesn't count.
No, sorry.
We're going a little off script. I have a question, right? So we've been talking about this internally at the marketing team here at Impact. How does Reddit play into the equation? Because I feel like I've been seeing, especially with AI, I've been seeing a lot from Reddit, like more and more these days from people I think when you think about reviews, Reddit is like a similar space where like it's user generated content. People are just keeping it real, telling people their experiences, and like that pops up a lot. So what do you say for the Reddit space and how that's all going?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked this, Alex, because I feel like there was kind of a stigma around Reddit for a while. Maybe there still is, where people are like, I'm not going to Reddit. That's crazy town. Like,
A couple years ago, that was me. Not get.
but you gotta be there now, because that's where people are, and that's a huge part of, when we talk about digital ecosystems. You can't just be where you want to be. You gotta go where your buyers are, and our buyers are on Reddit, and they are talking to each other, and that's a huge place for reviews. So not just for reviews. Yes, absolutely check reviews on Reddit, but also we just had a customer talk about how all they did, their whole strategy for Reddit was trying to be helpful. So they would go to Reddit, not trying to push their business and say, oh, well, what we do at our accounting firm is we do this, and this is how we help customers or whatever. They would just say, here's an answer to your question. I've been in this industry for a long time, and I know this to be true. And all they did was consistently show up on Reddit to be helpful and answer people's questions. And it made a difference to their business. They started getting referrals from Reddit
That's crazy.
because they seemed like a honest, trustful company and resource that people said, hey, they seem to be in it just to, help people out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating when you change the tone and you try not to be sales pitchy or like super professional, and you just meet people where they are, because you need to know your platform. And Reddit is a different platform than, your website. So it's like how you position that content and your responses is important.
Yeah, and you gotta give people the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they will smell out a sales pitch from a mile away. Can't be pushy like that, because you'll turn someone off. So it's, we say that not just about Reddit, but about your content, about your website. It's not about you. Don't be about the sale. When you try to be helpful, good things happen.
Yeah. It took me a while to figure that out, because I'm usually behind the camera. So to be in front of the cameras and doing this, I was like, if you watch the first couple of podcast episodes, I was like full Ryan Seacrest. And I was like, this is American Idol. Like, it was the full crazy send. And I realized that it was like, you don't have to try so hard. You just be you. It's okay. You just take a breath. And it takes a little practice, but I think you just have to force yourself into those habits and to continue to do that.
Yeah, it's a mindset shift, but a lot of this is, so we're all learning together. We'll start figuring it out. It's all right, but we'll get there.
We didn't talk about service pages, and I want to definitely talk about that because those are so important. And I'm just curious what your take is on that as well when it comes to trust signals.
Yeah, it's critical. So we often, it's so fine when it comes to giving a solution, right? Because usually when people are looking for something, they've got a problem, and they'll be your first station. And you, as business, that's what you offer, is you offer a solution to some of the problem. Yeah. For some reason, service pages can be really thin, where they're not putting enough content. They're just saying, here's the thing that we do. People need the thing, so that's probably good enough. You can't take that for granted. You have to, first of all, have your unique selling proposition about how you solve that problem, because you're likely competing against 5 other companies. And if they've got 5 of your service pages up and they're comparing side by side, you need to make sure that you have that unique selling proposition, but you're also giving on a lot of really robust and helpful, as you're hearing a lot, content to them. Answer all their questions. If you don't have an FAQ on your service page, do that right now, today. Do that. If you're not talking about who's a good fit, who's a bad fit of your service, do that right now. Help people qualify or disqualify themselves. Make sure that you are being really empathetic about what's at stake for people. You understand the problems that they're going through, and you're uniquely qualified to solve them. Like I said, don't take these for granted that people are looking for your solution. So sure, they'll find you and just say, good enough. You need to really make these robust pages where you answer everyone's questions and make them feel confident because they trust you.
Yes.
To take that next step and move forward.
Right. And it also helps, again, with search when it comes to AI, when people are searching for certain queries.
Yeah.
To helping it found when you index these pages.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a huge piece of it too. And people ask me all the time. They say, well, how can I compare it with a national brand for a service? Let's say I'm a small insurance company. I can't compete with a national brand for my service page. I'm never going to outrank them. I get that. That's not necessarily what we're going for. You want to go to be as authoritative and trustworthy and credible as you possibly can. That should be your goal. It shouldn't necessarily be trying to rank above a nationwide provider. It's to be helpful so that when people in your service area will find you, they will see that content and they will take in that credibility.
Yeah, and it does work. We have a long-standing client here at Impact, Barry Insurance, up in Massachusetts, Franklin, Massachusetts, and they're a perfect example of that. And they actually rank better than some of the national insurance providers because of the content that they put on their website and the content they put on their YouTube channel and the things that they're doing. So
Yeah, when it comes from the right place, that's when that can happen. It's when you're too focused on saying, I need to have keywords so that if I have 45 of them on the page, surely I could do better than the Hartford or whatever.
No, we're gonna do a pay-per-click campaign against Travelers Insurance to see how that goes because they're gonna outbid you every single time.
Right. Barry has the right mindset.
Yes. Yeah. So it is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of website stuff, we talked about this at Endless Customers Live, and it's not a new thing, but I think it's becoming a hot topic, and it's called Schema. And it's funny because when you say that, like I was telling this to my dad the other day. He was asking how work was going on and stuff.
Talk to your dad about Schema?
Now I kind of nerded out a little bit because he has a website and he was asking me some questions and I got into Schema and he was like, I said Schema and he was like, God bless you. And I was like, no, dude, that's not what so I was trying to explain it to him. And then I also was like, maybe I need somebody like a professional like yourself to just like give me the bare bones, like for people who don't know what this is. What the heck is it and why is it so important? Can we just dive into this? Yeah.
Great. So Schema is code that you can put on a website page so that Google and AI engines can read that code and instantly know what your page is about.
Well,
that's it. I kind of call it a cheat code.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're attaching labels to things.
Okay.
So for example, if I put this code on blog post, I can put a label on the title of the post. I can put a label on the author. I can say this is the image. So I'm instructing Google or other search engines and AI engines about those important pieces so that they can read that code and understand without any fluff, without anything else around the page, okay, this is exactly what it's about. When your data is unambiguous, you are more likely to be recommended by AI engines or search engines.
Right.
So that's what Schema does. And this is table stakes now. This is not just geekery that people like me have been doing for the past few years, which it kind of was. I mean, we've been doing Schema for a while.
So this isn't like news to you and the web team at all.
No.
And Vinny and I have been talking about Schema for years now. So.
No. But here's the difference, Alex. The beautiful thing is that when we were doing this years ago, we had to write the code, which I'll be honest, is not a fun experience.
Yeah.
Not a fun experience. It could break all the time. It was not user-friendly. I would spend hours doing this.
And this is coming from professional web developers here, okay? Because I don't know code. Like, do you guys know code at all? So.
But it's more accessible now because AI engines can write it for you or it's okay. So the barrier to entry is super low. And this is why I'm talking to my clients about doing it and sellers now, which is fabulous.
That's cool.
Because it's not, they don't need me to do this anymore. I teach them how to do it, but I can do it in 5 minutes. Wow. And I say, pull up your favorite AI engine of choice. We're going to go over how to add FAQ schema to your page so that hopefully your questions and answers, which again, it's this code and you have your question labeled question. If you have your answer labeled answer. And the AI engine sees that and says, okay, I totally get it. I know what the question is. I know what the answer is. And when someone asks it in an AI engine, it can say, oh, this website has that.
Yeah.
And I'll run you. Yeah. So again, table stakes. Everyone has to do this now. And it needs to be on every single important page on your website.
Yeah. And AI is doing it for you. So there's no excuse.
Yeah.
No excuse. So my next question is because you got my bill spinning now, right? So how do you pick the labels and how do you, because I'm thinking of it almost like an instruction manual and the first page of like the index and that has all like, flip to this page and flip to that. Like it sounds almost like Schema is the index for your website almost. So like how do you categorize and pick labels and like how do you prioritize what you need to be doing?
This is an excellent question. So here's the thing about Schema. So there is an organization, schema.org, who came up with how to do this stuff. Nice. And there are rules to it. So you can't just do whatever you want. And I'll put the asterisk on it. You're not a developer. Can't just do whatever you want. There are rules to these codes where there's a specific format you need, and there are certain labels that you have to satisfy.
Yeah.
So if you don't have those labels satisfied, like I gave with the blog example, title, description, things like that, then it's not going to give the right information that you want. Product. Another one is here's the price of the product. It has 1,245 reviews. It has a 4.6 average star rating for those reviews.
Right.
So those are different labels that you need. But the beautiful thing about having the AI engine to write this for you is I can give it a page out. I could give it a homepage of my website and it's say, what schema do you recommend for this? It'll tell me. So you can see the institutional knowledge that you need is zero.
Right.
So no, is it going to get it always right every time? No. And you do have to know to challenge it and say, oh, I'm not quite sure about that, but you can learn now. That's easy to learn now. So even if you're not sure, what kind of schema, ask. And it will give you a recommendation. You'll say, okay, that sounds good. Can you write that for me? And you'll say, sure can.
Yeah.
And then you put it on your website page and you're good to go. So
That's amazing.
yeah, you don't even have to come up with the labels because it knows what schema.org wants and it knows the rules. So it will do it for you.
All right. Well, I'm definitely going to be sending to my dad so that he can get up to speed on it because he's asking me all these questions. I think a lot of people out there are curious about it because it's becoming more of a trendy topic. People are hearing it. And I think especially with AI.
Like anything with AI, there are good ways and bad ways to prompt it for schema. And like I said, there have been times when I've been going through this process and I said, that's not quite great. So there is a little bit of, that's where guidance can be helpful. And that's where when I am showing clients, like I said, 15 minutes, I could do it, but I can at least, give people those guardrails to say, here's what to know, what not to know about working with AI engines when creating.
Yeah. Yes. Shameless plug. We have amazing the web team, the web developers here and coaches here. So if you're not sure, hit up Mary Brown or Ben or anyone on the web team because they can definitely help you out, or a kind of coach because they're great. Yeah.
And my clients think it's fun. That's the crazy thing. This used to be such a technical thing.
It was.
And now I got marketers saying, yeah, I had an FAQ schema on my pages and I had a button.
Yeah. No, that's really cool, especially when it works, when you get the results. And it just goes back to building more trust. We're trying to get people to find the pages to help build trust so that they can make a better buying decision. And that's what it's all about. Speaking of trust, this is the theme of the day. Speaking of trust, what other things should people be thinking about as far as educational content or ways to help build trust that you can put on your site that are going to be super effective at you've seen work really well?
Yeah. So you mentioned educational content. We talked a little about reviews, case studies. So if you put those three together, that's the trifecta of trust. Educational content shows that you know what you're talking about.
Right.
Reviews show that other people will vouch for you and say that you're good on it. And then case studies connect those docs to real world results. So when you have all three of those things, people will see that, okay, they actually know what they're talking about. Real humans are saying that they know what they're talking about. And then I can see quantifiable results, those case studies. So I have a lot of clients at this stage. I would say most of them have testimonials. Fewer of them have case studies. So that's something we're working on right now.
Gotcha. So they have a written testimonial, but they might not have a case study.
Yeah, and it's, testimonials. It's often I worked with Alex and he was so wonderful and was just helped us, which is great.
It is, but it's like fluff. It's all the...
It is. It's the feel-good, warm, fuzzy stuff that you want to see on page, which is, as I said, it's a good thing.
And I need that, yeah, but...
The case study is, especially I always tell people, put in your headline the number. So tell people X company improved ROI by 20% by doing this.
Right.
That's a case study, very different. And one of the things about case studies, I was just going over this with a client, was they said, is there a particular structure to case studies that AI cares about? And I said,
Oh, good question.
the same thing that humans care about, and the structure that we've had for case studies for a long time, which is here's the problem, here's the proposed solution, and here's the result.
Yeah.
And have those numbers in there and call that stuff out. But that is then the template for all time, pretty much for case study, and that's what AI wants. It's chunked out, it's easily digestible, so that it can scan the page and say, okay, problem, solution, result, got it, numbers, got it, check. Credible, quantifiable.
Yeah, that makes sense, and that's the same in the selling 7 too. It's you establish the problem because it's compelling, it's relatable. We get people to go yes, I feel your pain. I've been there before. And then the proposed solution. And then when the results hopefully speak for themselves, it's a home run.
Yeah. So that's often a missing piece. And even if you're worried about, I don't know if I can name clients, I can't, have that stuff. So don't just say, small company, in this area, whatever. Just don't let that hang you up. Don't let details like that hang you up. If you can get, an actual case study video and get your people on camera, that's always huge. But don't let stuff like that hang you up from telling a story.
Yeah. You got me thinking too about like, we had mentioned this earlier with blogging, but like how did the team bio pages and photos and like building credibility with your team help play into this as well? Because saying like, we have the best people, that's wonderful. And we've heard Marcus say this time and time again, like, good for you, that's great, but everyone says that. How do you show that in a meaningful way that gets people exciting, wanting to work with people like yourself or working with the rest of your team?
Yeah. It's funny that we're talking about this in the AI trust signals episode, but it's about people and it's about being human. So a lot of this does come back to you.
I wish I could be like, this is my hand, but I'm not really here right now. This is Mary Brown's hologram. You're not here in studios.
Definitely here. So people buy from people, not logos.
Yes.
And that's what that's about. So that's why bios are so important, is having a photo, having a headshot, having a video, even if it's the 90-second video of someone talking about why I love working with our customers, why I love this job so much. Being able, and as this is you, this is your zone of genius. You know this, why video is so compelling, being able to see someone, hear someone before you meet them, how that builds trust.
Yeah. It's actually exponential, the difference. If you have it, like, let's say we're talking about someone on your sales team, right? If they can send a one-to-one video, or they can look at a customer can look at a bio video beforehand and get a sense of who they are, and then talk to them on the call, the difference or the results that happen, trust builds so much faster. And we've seen it, it's exponential. It's not really, we're not making this stuff up. It really makes a difference, and it can speed up your sales process. It can speed up a lot of different processes that you have in your organization. It's just it's almost a must-have. It's like having a pricey cup. It's like there's no excuse. You got to do it.
Yeah. It humanizes your brand so that you seem more like, not just a brand, that you've got people behind your brand.
Yeah, and from a web optimization standpoint, right? I know photos and video can bog down load times and speed times and stuff like that for your site. Do you recommend putting like videos on a YouTube channel and then backlinking them, or like, what are your recommendations there as far as like keeping your site optimized so that it's fast?
Yeah. So it depends on what your goals are. One of the things that I say about video on websites is when it comes to your blog content, I love for people to embed YouTube videos in blog posts, because I love creating that link between YouTube and your blog, so your resource hub, and having those links go back and forth to each other. You know that YouTube is the biggest search engine in the world. It's huge in terms of appearing in search, showing up there. So I do like to have that connected to your resources. For the rest of the videos on your website, so on a service page, for example, if you have that hosted in HubSpot, or if you have those in Wistia or Vimeo, whatever your tool of choice is where you're getting the analytics that you want, I say that would be good for your website.
Okay. Good advice. And good to know, and I agree, YouTube is where it's at. And it's interesting how many people don't know that YouTube is the largest search engine out there, and it's only getting bigger.
Oh, yeah.
And louder.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. So definitely be on YouTube. All right. So I want to ask you a couple questions now. We've talked a little bit high level of why trust is so important, different things you can do to implement and build trust. Do you have some examples from clients? We were talking before the show that you've launched a ton of new websites for clients. That you've been like crazy busy. I haven't seen you.
I know.
Yeah. Can you share some examples of like trust signals that you've implemented on some new sites that have really been working well and that like you've been helping our clients out?
Yeah. So one of the big ones right now we're having everybody do is adding FAQ schema that I mentioned earlier to not just your service pages. So yes, put FAQ on your service pages and put FAQ schema on those pages, but also your blog content. So some people have said, hey, Mayor, do I have to have an FAQ module on the page to put FAQ schema on a page? And you don't. So yes, if you've got a specific section that's question, answer, yes, that's very neat. But a lot of your blog content is going to be question, answer format, right? Because that's why you're writing it.
That's the whole point.
Yeah. So you got usually probably your heading of the blog is going to be a question, and then you're going to answer that question. One shift for AI is making sure that you are restating the question, the very first sentence of the blog post, and then answering it immediately. Interesting. So that's a bit of a content shift where instead of building a narrative, and I'm saying this as a former journalist and heard a little bit, but don't build that huge narrative. Get to the point, answer the question immediately. Because when you think about AI surfacing questions and answers and overviews, it's just question answer. So make that shift. We've helped clients make that shift, and they are showing up more readily in AI overviews and in rankings. So it's working. It's working. Yeah. We're seeing the rankings improve for putting FAQ schema on their blog posts and showing up better in AI items. So that's huge. Another thing that we're seeing, we talked about self-service tools. So launching that pricing tool, we have a client who does exterior motors and doors. So it's a huge purchase. I know because we were just doing this at my house.
I'm doing it too. Get that.
Yeah.
Windows.
So
really full adulting right now.
IEWS, terrible. The quote that I got, I don't know if you got as far as the quote yet. I have. $85,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine wasn't quite as, it was close, but not quite as bad. Yeah. I think mine was, the first quote we got was like 40-ish, 50, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
It's huge. So it's a huge purchase. It's an important one because, you want your home to be energy efficient and not be wasting when I'm heating it.
Right.
But you want to know that stuff up front. You don't want to go through the whole, do the research, have someone come out to the house, walk them all around, and have them look at all your windows, have them do this, have them send you a 45-page PDF, no joke, I got one, about why we're different. Like, could this have been a video?
Yeah. I got one of those too. Hack it.
And guess what? I didn't read the whole thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
they gave me like a little pamphlet too when I showed up. They were like, here's our brochure. And I'm like, but you're here. Why do I need your brochure? One in there.
Good tips coming out of Sisprani Windows company out there. We don't like your sale process. So give me the assignment selling more, please.
Yes.
Instead of the 45-page PDF. So you want that info up front because I want to know, if you're going to give me a quote for $200 decent, I'm just not going to, let's not waste our time here.
Right.
Because I'm not going to spend that money.
You know what your budget is going into it. So it's either going to fit into your budget or it's not. It's like, let's not waste each other's time, right?
So put the pricing tool on the website. And that's what one of our clients did. They put a pricing tool on their website for both windows, for doors. And they were seeing hundreds of thousands of dollars of ROI from this tool in the first month.
In the first month.
In the first month.
First 30 days, yeah. Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Of launching this. I mean, maybe it was one deal because there's some stuff. But
still.
That's, it paid off the cost of the tool 10 times over, 20 times over by putting this on the website. And it's helping people, and that's why they're saying, yeah, I'll spend my money with you because I got that answer up front of what I was looking for.
Yeah, that's amazing. What other results have you been seeing from companies that have been implementing trust signals? Anything major, anything that you're like, whoa, this really worked and changed the game for our business?
It's funny. So again, something you've been talking about for years and years and years, but some people still don't have this at a learning center. So we had a client who didn't have a learning center. They had a blog, didn't have a learning center.
Marcus was here and be like,
yes, I'm biased is showing, but it's because we have the data. So we know some people are saying, what's the difference? So we want that learning center to be that one-stop shop for any resource, regardless of what TAFE it is. So just by adding a learning center and by having any resource. So some people don't want to read blogs. Some people want to watch video. Hi. Hey, y'all, how's it going? Yes, me. Some people want to watch videos. Some people want to download a PDF and print it off and highlight it. I'm not naming names, but know people who do that. So you've got people with very different learning styles who need different resources. So that improves the number of leads that they got, actual leads, because they're finding content to be educated, to build the trust, and to end up submitting form and working with them because they were able to learn in the format that made sense for them. And they got that information, which they might have ignored if all they had was a blog because they said, I don't read blog.
Yeah. No, learning is a lot more than blogs are great.
Yes.
But it's a lot deeper than just blogging. There's more to it.
Yeah.
That's a good point. What should people that are watching and listening right now, if they're going like, cool, I want to be trustworthy. I want to show up in AI search. I want to implement these trust signals. What would you recommend at the first 2 or 3 that they should just get after right now?
Yeah. So you heard me talk about pricing. Yes, transparent pricing. That's going to be the number one thing I'm going to have you do first, always. Another one that I'll say is the reviews and case studies. So maybe you've got testimonials, you don't have reviews or case studies. That's number 2. So get after that first. The third one, self-service tools. So whether it's a pricing tool, it doesn't have to be a pricing tool. Yes, that one helps convert pretty readily because bottom of the funnel, people want to know how much it costs. There are other types of tools that you can do. There are assessments. Self-schedulers are another really good one.
Yeah.
So by allowing people to have more control over when they make an appointment with you, they're finding more conversions, right? Because they're saying, I get to pick the day and time. I don't even have to talk to a person, which is our favorite thing.
I think most people are used to like Comcast coming out or whatever cable provider, and they're like, we'll be at your house between 1 and 8 p.m.
And it's always 8.
Again, they're like, that's a huge window. And like, yeah, stuck at the house now waiting for these people. So to be able to go on a nice self-service tool and schedule yourself, take the time you want, what's convenient, but you're like, it's a game changer. It really is a game changer. And it almost seems mundane when you say it out loud, how simple it is, but it really changes how the buyer interacts with your brand and what they end doing from a buying usage, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those I would say are the top 3. There are other things that maybe you've heard less about that I definitely recommend you doing. Schema is one of the things you also need to do. So learn more about that today. I'm telling you, so you won't do it.
Yes.
Making sure that something you haven't talked about yet, your NAP info, so name, address, phone.
Okay.
That's actually very important for you to do, believe it or not, is making sure that all of that is not just up to date and garage. Which people are going to say, I didn't even know. Some people don't even know they have listings out there. They don't even know they have directories. I mentioned this to a client last week, and she said they were all different. Our phone numbers were different. And girls, yeah. So she's problem.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And she said, we had no idea that we weren't getting the right phone calls. And so we actually changed this stuff. So that is huge. It seems like a small detail, but it's a hugely important detail because, again, for AI, they're going to be looking at that and saying, does all of their stuff consistent?
Especially if you've like changed locations over your time as a business, you need to really make sure that it's up to date because yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah. And then refreshing content. So we're making sure that you're going back to your content, you're updating it, and you're making sure that it's not just, people say evergreen, nevergreen, but refresh it anyway.
Yeah.
There's always something new that you can add, right? Nothing stays the same all the time. Maybe principles do, but there's definitely more context you can add.
More context or pull something that's relevant or trending that's new that you can just kind of update it or at the very least change the dates so that the dates and times are up to snuff and it's not 10 years old.
Yeah, and structure and things, AI loves things like tables. So I had some clients who have added tables, just comparison tables to their blog content, and that's something that AI will look for and pull about in their results. So that's another really great thing to add in.
I've learned a ton. This is awesome. Thank you for all your insights and sharing your knowledge today. It's just been really great talking with you.
Anytime. Happy to be here.
Yeah, no, I love having you in the show. You're going to have to, we need to make this a more regular thing.
We will.
Please come into the studio so that I can see you more often.
This is recorded. It's going to happen. It's saying yes.
So this is my favorite part, last part of the show, last question here. What's the one thing that people should take away from our conversation today?
Don't be overwhelmed by this, because when you actually listen to the details of what we're talking about, it all comes back to doing things that build trust. So maybe it goes a little deeper, and maybe some things are getting to be a little more technical. But if it builds trust for humans and it builds credibility for humans, it will do that for AI and will.
That's amazing advice. The fundamentals are the same. The tech changes a little bit, but the fundamentals are the same.
Indeed.
Mary, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, for everybody out there watching and listening to Endless Customers, I'm your host, Alex Winter. Catch you on the next episode.